And today we're going to be answering the question, can you survive a night in the haunted Hill House? Inspired by a classic horror game, this haunted house is said to be one of the most terrifying places in the United States. Located in the town of Niagara in the state of Wisconsin, the Hill House is a place that many dare not go near, even during the day. The legend goes that anyone who stays the night will die or never return home again. But what exactly is the history of this allegedly haunted house and what dangers lie within its walls? Let's find out. But before we begin, I'd like you to subscribe if you haven't already and turn on notifications so that you don't miss out on any of our future uploads. Now let's see if you can survive a night in the haunted Hill House. There are many haunted houses in the United States. Many have entire tours dedicated to them, while others are hidden away in remote areas. But there are few that are as infamous as the Hill House. In the 1970s, a group of teenagers decided to spend the night in the house just to prove that it was unhaunted. However, they ran away after hearing strange noises and seeing unexplained things. Since then, no one has dared to spend the night in the house. So the question remains, is it really haunted, or is it all just an elaborate hoax? Before we delve deeper into the topic, let us take a look at the location. The house is located in the small town of Niagara, in the state of Wisconsin. It is said to be one of the most haunted places in the country, and those who have visited claim that it is filled with ghosts and other paranormal entities. According to local legend, anyone who stays the night in the house will die or never return home again. But what is the truth behind these claims? Is the Hill House really haunted? Or is it all just a bunch of superstitious nonsense? The first mention of the Hill House comes from a local newspaper article published in 1973. The article tells the story of a group of teenagers who decided to spend the night in the house just to prove that it was unhaunted. However, they soon realized that they had made a terrible mistake. They claimed to have heard strange noises and seen unexplained things, and eventually they all ran away from the house in terror. Since then, no one has dared to spend the night in the house, and it has become known as one of the most haunted places in the United States. But what makes the Hill House so special? What is it about this house that makes it so terrifying? To understand the legend of the Hill House, we must first look at its history. The house was built in 1851 by a wealthy farmer named John Hildy. Lived in the house with his wife and children until his death in 1880. After his death, the house was passed down to his son, who eventually sold it to a man named Edward Crane. Crane was a businessman who used the house as a summer home. He lived there with his wife and daughter until their deaths in 1923. The house then sat vacant for several years until it was purchased by a family named Peterson in 1930. The Petersons lived in the house for many years, but tragedy struck in 1964 when the son was found dead in the basement. It is said that he had been murdered, but the case was never solved and no one knows for sure what happened to him. After the murder, the house was sold again and eventually came into the possession of a woman named Helen Acton. Acton lived in the house for many years, but she was eventually evicted due to unpaid taxes. Since then, the house has changed hands several times, but no one has ever been able to live there permanently. It is said that the spirits of those who died in the house still linger there, making it one of the most haunted places in America. If you're thinking about visiting the house, be warned. According to local legend, anyone who stays the night in the house will die or never return home again. Throughout the years, Many people have claimed to have seen ghosts and other paranormal activity at the Hill House. One of the most commonly reported sightings is that of a little girl in a Victorian nightgown. It is said that she wanders the halls at night and can often be heard playing with her dolls. Another ghost that is often seen is that of a man in a top hat and cane. He is believed to be the spirit of John Hill, the original owner of the house. Other people have reported seeing shadowy figures moving through the house and have heard strange voices and footsteps. Some people have even claimed to have been touched by an invisible force while inside the house. If you decide to visit, bring a camera along, as it is said that the spirits are most active at night. So now you know a bit more about the history of the Hill House and some of the ghosts that are said to haunt it. But the question remains, can you survive a night there? It all depends on your belief in the supernatural. If you don't believe in ghosts, then you should have no problem spending the night in the house. However, if you do believe in ghosts, then you may want to think twice before entering. There have been many reports of people being injured or even killed while trying to spend the night in haunted houses. So it is important to be prepared. If you do decide to go ahead with it, make sure that you bring a camera along as well as some holy water and salt. Holy water and salt are said to be able to ward off evil spirits, so it is always a good idea to bring them with you when visiting a haunted house. You should also make sure that you are not alone when visiting the house. It is important to have someone with you for support in case you start to feel scared. When exploring the house, make sure that you are respectful of the ghosts that are said to haunt it. Do not try to interact with them or move any of their belongings, as this could anger them. If you start to feel scared or uncomfortable, then leave the house immediately. Do not try to stick it out, because you will only put yourself in danger. We have compiled a list of things that you should never do when visiting a haunted house. Never enter a haunted house alone. It is important to have someone with you for safety purposes. Never try to interact with ghosts. Even if you do see one, do not attempt to communicate with it or move any of its belongings. Never explore a haunted house at night, if possible. Try to visit during the day when there is more natural light. This will help you to stay calm and focused. Never stay in a haunted house overnight. If you do decide to explore a haunted house, make sure that you leave before nightfall. Ghosts are most active at night, and you don't want to be caught off guard. Now that we've covered everything that you need to know about surviving a night in the haunted Hill House, let's take a look at what would happen if you did decide to stay the night. As we mentioned earlier, the house is said to be one of the most haunted places in the United States. So you can expect to see and hear all sorts of strange things. If you are lucky, you may only experience minor paranormal activity, such as shaking objects or hearing footsteps. However, if you are unlucky, you may encounter more aggressive spirits. If you do see a ghost, do not try to interact with it. Instead, remain calm and try to ignore it. If the ghost becomes more aggressive, then leave the house immediately. If you hear strange noises, try to identify where they are coming from. If you can't find the source of the noise, then leave the room and try to find a more comfortable place to stay. If you feel cold spots or other physical sensations, then try to move to a different area of the house. These sensations are often caused by energy vortexes and can be felt in areas where ghosts are most active. One of the most important things to remember is to stay calm. If you start to panic, panic, then the ghosts will sense your fear and become more active. Try to relax and enjoy the experience. After all, you are staying in one of the most haunted houses in America. The next morning, after hopefully surviving the night in the haunted hill house, you will want to leave as quickly as possible. The spirits are most active at night, and you don't want to stick around to find out why. As you are leaving, be sure to say goodbye to any ghosts that you may have made friends with. Be polite and respectful, as you never know when you might cross paths with them again. And that's a wrap. We hope that you enjoyed learning about the haunted hill house and the legend that surrounds it. Let us know in the comments below if you would dare to spend a night in this house. And to be sure to subscribe for more videos like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.